here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Hi, this is Jason Ginsberg, the creator of Fake Theme Park, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast. Hello, this is Murph Gantley, the CEO and founder of the greatest theme park in the world, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
I accept the Coaster Challenge.
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 Do you accept the Coaster Challenge?
What is the Coaster Challenge? A group of regular people that went from fearful to fearless, all from riding roller coasters. So please secure your hats and glasses. It's time to take the Coaster Challenge. Here are your hosts, David Cantu and Jenna Gazelle.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another exciting episode of the Coaster Challenge podcast. And I'm David Cantu, and it is Friday, March 8th, and boy, do we have an incredible episode for you guys out there today. First, I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Hope everyone's going to have a wonderful weekend. I will tell you guys, it has been on my end here. It has been a very challenging month for me over here on this end here in California. How are those gas prices going for all you guys all around the country? You know, I will tell you right now, I was sticker shocked when I saw that we have a local gas station here that has got regular gas at $6.99 a gallon. I will tell you guys, I have been born and raised my whole life here in California. And even over the decades growing up, I have never seen gas prices get as high as I've seen in Los Angeles. Never seen it get to the $5 mark. We've gotten in time, we've seen it get up to like $4.35, $4.59, but it would always drop back down to about $2.99, $2.50, just under a little over $3 a gallon. I will tell you guys, it is definitely pinching money at the pump. I hope that you guys are able to adjust your budgets for your upcoming coaster season this year, because it looks like these gas prices are not going to get any better this year. They might be getting even higher, so you guys might want to prepare for those adjustments. You always want to be prepared whenever you got a trip plan. You want to make sure you got all that adjusted into your cost when you're renting a car or you're traveling from state to state. It looks like gas prices are getting up to the almost $5 a gallon, almost across the entire country. It's something I've never seen before, ever in my lifetime. So I hope those gas prices go down, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. So guys, be prepared out there. Make sure to adjust your budgets for fuel. You want to make sure or try to find ways to save. Those who have an electric car, you guys will probably have the bigger blessing right now, because all you have to do is just go to the nearest charging stations. At least on my end here, I'm happy to say that I just ordered my brand new car this year. It's going to be my first electric vehicle. I think it's better now than ever, because look what's going on out in the world, guys. It's pretty scary out there. But you know what? It's all about, living life to the fullest, and you got to stay positive, and we need to continue to enjoy life as much as you can. I hope everyone will still have a good year, good summer, good coaster season coming up. There's a lot of exciting things going on in the coaster community this year and at the theme parks, so I hope you guys are all ready for that. Yeah, we've got a very special episode for you guys here today. Andrew and Ivah have a very special guest in the house. We have the one and only Scott Schaffer. Scott Schaffer from Upstop Media is in the house today. Got a very incredible interview story for Andrew and Ivah today. But first, before we get to the interview, if those who don't know who Scott Schaffer is, Scott Schaffer played a big role in the big documentary that came out last year. It was from Coaster Studios. It was called This Is How We Roll, the Rocky Mountain Construction documentary. Scott played a big role as a cameraman and helping to create this documentary with Taylor and Sarah. It's a really honor we have him on the podcast. We had Taylor and Sarah on our podcast earlier this season, so if you guys want to hear that episode, just scroll back and you'll see that episode as well. For those that don't know what the documentary This Is How We Roll, well, here's a little bit of a preview for those that don't know about this documentary. This is what Scott was involved in. It took a lot of years, a lot of work for them to do this, and they did an incredible job, so take a listen.
We got into repairing wooden roller coaster track. You would repair a corner of a roller coaster, and 3 years later you'd go back and repair the same corner. I just thought there's got to be a way to make this track last.
Along comes Fred with this whole completely different idea of how to do track. Everyone's looking at this going, how's this going to work? Nobody's done this before.
I would just go from roller coaster manufacturer to one after the other, trying to say that I think we have this figured out. I believe we could do this.
At some point, somebody's going to say yes, and Six Flags did. And the minute that happens, their lives changed.
There's this ride opening down in Branson at Silver Dollar City. Like, it's a wooden roller coaster that goes upside down a bunch of times. I was like, what? How's that possible?
If we build a wood coaster, can we launch it? Fred Grubb said, we can do that.
You know, essentially what RMC was just uncontrolled growth.
We had so much demand, but we didn't have the infrastructure to meet the demand. We basically had no tools. We had one small shop and about 10 employees, and that was it. RMC started out of his garage just as a small construction company. He had no idea it would turn into what it is now. He didn't mean for this to happen.
Fred's just one of those guys that'll surprise you at every turn.
'Cause this is how we roll. Care if I'm broke. Shoot one to the soul. You never try slow, and it's better than ever. Do it forever, yeah, forever. This is how we roll. Kick it till fall. Never get old. Put your hands up, baby. Do it forever, yeah, forever.
Hello, Coaster Challenge listeners. This is Andrew and Ivah, co-producers of the Coaster Challenge podcast. Our special guest today has taken his passion to new heights by using his videography and photography skills to produce amazing content for a number of companies in the theme park industry.
Paving the way for future generations, his work includes point of views, commercial footage, and recently contributed to the revolutionary documentary of Rocky Mountain construction, This Is How We Roll. Please welcome to the Coaster Challenge podcast, Scott Schaffer. Hi, Scott.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks, everyone, for having me on.
Awesome,
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you must be excited. I know, you and I have chatted offline and so forth, messaging back and forth. And, we're both car guys, both really into cars. And now you just got your new CX-5 that you're going to be driving all over the country. It's your new gear hauler, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you want to get nerdy with it, it's a CX-5 Carbon Edition Turbo, nice. Which they only made for 1 year. They discontinued the Turbo for 2022 in the Carbon Edition. So I was like, I need one. So nice. I got literally one of the last ones to roll off the assembly line. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's gonna be my new hauler. I've got some new gear this year and an intern as well. So yeah, it was time to get something bigger.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll be talking more about your new intern later on here in the interview. So, well, speaking of the interview, we can go ahead and get started. So. All of us, Ivah, myself, and David, we already all know you, Scott. We've met you before, but some of the people in our audience may have not or not know of you. So to start with, why don't you tell us about yourself and your experience working in the theme park industry?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've always been a lifelong roller coaster enthusiast. I mean, to be honest, I used to be scared of them, but always fascinated by them. When I started riding them, getting into them, I always thought that, man, this is something that I could probably do for the rest of my life. I kind of found a niche market for doing video production and camera rigging and things like that. Yeah, I fell in love with the work almost as much as the rides themselves, and it just kind of took off from there. It's just been 100% driven by passion.
Nice. Now, one thing I'm curious about, by the way, you mentioned about, you can do this for the rest of your life. With your company, Upstop Media, which we'll be talking more about later, is that your only job, or do you have kind of quote unquote, as they say, the day job as well?
So I kind of have a really fun and goofy part-time job that I work like while I'm in town, which is actually driving the amphibious cars at Disney Springs, and I give amphicar tours. They leave out of the boathouse.
Really?
So when I'm not traveling the country filming roller coasters, I'm driving perfectly good vintage cars right into a lake intentionally.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen those amphicar cars. One of these days I want to actually go out in one of those. But so you're one of the drivers. Because isn't it true that people, if they want to, they can drive themselves, or they have an option of someone driving them? Or
no. Only it's a captain guided tour, but we are hiring if you want to drive them.
Oh, that can be fun. Yeah, it's like a fun job. That's interesting.
Oh,
so that's like a
part-time. Doesn't suck. That's for sure. It's a blast. Yeah.
Nice. That's like a part-time gig for you.
Yeah. So like this time of year when it's, I've been doing it 40 hours a week right now because it's, the video stuff's a little slow with everything being closed up north. But man, once like March hits, then it's like I'm out of town for a little bit.
Nice. It's nice they can be flexible like that. That's awesome. So. All right. Very cool. Very cool.
All right. So, Scott, we're going to go way, way back and talk about some past coasters that you've ridden. So what was your first coaster you ever rode?
Oh, man. First roller coaster was in 1990, and that was Junior Gemini at Cedar Point. And I have a photo of myself to prove that I have that credit when I was like, however old I was back then, 6 or whatever, little of me, I thought I was a hoot. I rode it like 3 times. I thought I was the baddest kid on the block riding the thing.
Right. Everybody's got to start someplace.
It's not even called Junior Gemini anymore.
I know. I can't keep track of it, but it'd always be Junior Gemini in my heart.
Right. Of course.
It's my first roller coaster.
So Scott, you mentioned earlier that coasters used to scare you, which that's not unique. Of course, that's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people, especially when you're young, are scared of coasters. There are a lot of adults that are scared of coasters. Obviously there's the aspect of conquering fear of riding coasters, even for enthusiasts. We don't start off. It's very rare to meet an enthusiast that whatever they started riding, 10 years old, 5 years old, 15 years old, they started off being fearless. Maybe eventually some of us become fearless, certainly, but obviously you were scared at first. In all the years you've been riding coasters, what coaster has scared you the most? Like before you got on it, you had the most anxiety about riding that for the first time?
Man, I'm probably gonna have to say, and it's not even a roller coaster. Actually, it was Giant Drop at Six Flags Great America back when it opened in 1997, going way back. And I'd seen the ads. So let me back up. So I rode Junior Gemini. Fine, rode it 3-4 times. Yay, cool. I rode Rolling Thunder at Six Flags Great America, which is now up at the Great Escape. Their toboggan ride.
Right.
Cried like the entire ride, right? Like, and then I rode it a second time, like I think a year later, and I just had my eyes closed, and I did okay. That was it, like I was always fascinated by roller coasters. I was drawing them, everything else. I'm going off on a tangent here. In 1997, they announced the Giant Drop, and I was like, wow, you're gonna fall straight down like 227 feet. Like that's crazy. I was like, man, I need to do this. Like it terrified me to think about, but like I just needed to do it.
Right.
It was really that ride when I rode it and I got off it, and I was like, wow, that was something like I've never felt before. And I was like, okay, what's next? And Viper's right there. Went and rode Viper. And I was looking at Viper being like, oh, this is kind of crazy looking, like really quick little hills and stuff. Rode that, was like, that was fun. And then I went and rode Iron Wolf. That was my first looping roller coaster. That one day kind of like kicked off like the rest of my kind of life as a roller coaster enthusiast.
Sure.
Wasn't even a roller coaster, it's Giant Drop. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny.
Sure. No, it makes sense though, because fear of heights is one of the most common fears that's related to theme parks and rides and being a thrill seeker in general. And so that I'm guessing that must have been, given the time period of that was one of the earliest second gen Intamin drop towers.
It absolutely was.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny how much you progressed, because last time I saw you was about a week ago, the media event at Icon Park. And, there you are, all excited to ride a drop tower that's, more than double the height. And because you've conquered those fears, you're like, bring it on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And can I also just touch on how the opening year theming of Giant Drop is actually pretty cool. They used to have like little animatronic stuff you'd walk through. It's all been gone, but yeah, I'll just add how that was cool when you don't see that anymore. So it's kind of like sad.
Oh, That's too bad. Yeah, I've been to Six Flags Great America once, and it's a great park. I consider it to be one of the top tier Six Flags parks.
Absolutely is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was like blessed to have that be my home park. You know what I mean? Like, what a park.
They've got a nice ride selection, definitely. My favorite there is between Goliath and I love the Demon. I love how they still have kept the theming on Demon with the theme song and everything. The Demon song.
It's gonna get ya. It's such a great campy song. Like everybody in Chicago is like knows that song. It's so funny. But yeah, no, I love how they kept that original theming, and like I agree. Like that's kind of like a total package, cool classic Arrow. That's actually like that first drop in the back is better than the one in California for sure.
So I would definitely say that riding the big drop definitely had a huge impact on your life by conquering your fear. Wouldn't you say so, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be on this podcast if it wasn't for that ride. You know what I mean?
Right.
Crazy. I wouldn't know any of you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The friendships that we make in this hobby, being enthusiasts, it's insane. The friendships that I've built over the years, especially over recent years. So I can relate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, conquered your fears with Giant Drop, and the rest has been history. All the coasters and rides and parks you've been to, and all the thrill seeking, which we're all very much can relate to. But tell me about beyond conquering your fear. How have coasters and theme parks had a significant positive impact on your life in any other way or ways?
Well, I mean, they really give you an opportunity to be creative. And it's like, I could just enjoy photography, videography, things like that. I've always enjoyed roller coasters. And like when you put them together, like you can create something beautiful, and, just as much of a thrill out of, capturing, like an incredible image as I do actually riding a ride sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can relate.
I mean, there are so many creative people out there at so many levels, and like, I love getting like a bunch of enthusiasts together that also like have, creative minds, and then we all create something together, like it's just, it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. And I love that. And I love that like within our community, so
awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I love the fact when we mesh all of our talents together, we come up with this amazing monster. And so if you'll take it, or a velocicoaster of excitement, just with products of entertainment and photography, like what you do, Scott, with Upstop. We're going to talk about this later. Your newly apprenticed co-worker, he's got some amazing talent that I cannot wait to see what he's going to do. And I can't wait to see what between your talent and what his talent is going to accomplish.
But before we get to that, we're going to talk a little bit more about your kind of history of riding coasters, if you will.
Now, Scott, I know that you have been everywhere around the country, especially with working on the This Is How We Roll documentary. And you've been around some amazing and crazy people as well in the industry. So what is your craziest moment on a coaster?
Oh man, I like put a lot of thought into this, and honestly, like riding Axis with Alan Schilke, just I don't know, that like it's between that and just like as like fun and like random as that was, or the fact that I didn't know that Carden had the drop on it when I rode it. I made the same sound that I'm probably gonna make right before I die. That's all I can say about that. I have never been. You want to talk about? So you mentioned the most scared I've been before a ride.
Right.
The most scared I've been on a ride. That moment by far, and nothing has come close since, and nothing probably will ever come close to the fear that I felt when that thing dropped, and I didn't know it was going to drop. I'm riding with my friend who is like the most emotionless human being. Does not laugh, does not cheer, nothing. He rides like and just rides and gets off and is like, yeah, all right, let's go. And like it could be his number one ride. He gets off, he's like, all right, and he gets off this, he looks at me and he goes, so did you almost bleep your pants too? And that was the most emotion I've ever seen that man show after a ride. The emotion of terror.
And which coaster was that?
Carnan at a Hansa Park.
Oh, at Hansa. Okay. Gotcha. Oh. What is your most favorite coaster?
Okay, so there's this one wacky worm, and no, it's
hey, people freak out about the one at Uncle Bernie's. I've got several Thuzy friends that go crazy about Uncle Bernie's, and yeah. Anyway, but
I rode one time. it was down to like this kind of like indoor entertainment complex down in Mexico somewhere. I forget where it was. Adults weren't supposed to ride it, and they put us on because we were enthusiasts, but they said you just have to duck when you get to the tunnel because the tunnel was like at head level. You literally had to do a full duck to get into the tunnel. Yeah, and they let us ride like that. It was great. But my number one is the Voyage. Voyage at night. Nice. Like even Voyage during the day, is incredible, but I've never experienced anything like I've experienced Voyage at night. It's just the most spectacular ride, and it's just so crazy and just so out of control, and it finishes stronger than it starts. The pacing is perfect, and just like the tunnels and the energy, and especially when you're riding it at night, the only time you're riding that thing at night is at an event, so everybody in the train's going crazy, and it's just, the best memories I've had of riding roller coasters is like Voyage at night, followed very closely by Velocicoaster. It's right there, nipping at the heels, because that ride is just like, it's flawless. Like it's like the perfect ride. Like if Voyage wasn't the perfect ride, that's the perfect ride.
And let's face it, there's not many wooden coasters out there anymore that haven't been RMC. Nothing against RMC, of course, but there's not many classic wooden coasters. No, oh my God,
Wait a second.
RMC.
But you're not the only one, Scott, who has said that
Jake's gonna hear this.
Has said that their favorite coaster is Voyage. So I'm very interested to hear what you have to say is what is your least favorite coaster.
Oh man, anything RMC. Oh God, don't worry, I'll get Jake to listen to this episode so he can pick on me. Especially since I said Voyage is my favorite, and he gives me hell for that. He gives me absolute hell. Yeah, and I'm like, just build something better. And I'm like, you could start with the trains. But anyways, okay, least favorite Green Lantern Magic Mountain.
Oh,
I'm so glad it's gone.
Hate it.
Okay, so I gotta tell you this. My friend Andrew and I rode it. His wife was smart enough to be like, I'm not getting on that. You guys are idiots. Okay. And I'm looking at it like, Andrew, you realize that like these rides would probably be good if like you rotated around the body, not the center of a vehicle with two back to back. Like it's so horribly off balance, off centered, And Andrew and I, we caught a flip funny, and both our eyes like popped out of their sockets. And like Andrew's eyes hurt for like almost a month after riding that ride. Like it did like damage to his eyes. And my eyes hurt for like a week. It was crazy. I was like, this is the dumbest, worst. I'm like, they just need to scrap this and just throw it away. Because like somebody's gonna get hurt on this thing. Like, you just need to get rid of it. Yeah. So that was the worst ride I ever found, was that stupid Green Lantern thing. I rode it one time, and we wouldn't even ride it again. Ironically, we're like, no, we're too scared of it.
So Scott, we were kind of teasing this a couple times earlier on in the interview. Of course, recently we've seen that Upstop Media, your company, has recently expanded and added the ever talented Jack Lathrop from Thrilling Moments joining your team. We're very excited to see that he's joining your team. And, what are you most excited about having Jack contribute to the team? Like what made you add him as your intern?
Yeah. So first off, has Jack been on a coaster challenge? Because if not,
yes.
He has. I thought he had been, right? Yeah. That's what I thought. I thought he'd be on it. Okay. I mean, you guys know Jack. His photography, since I've known him, like when I met him, his photography was incredible, and it's only gone up from incredible. You know what I mean? Like, I look at his work and his passion and just he's just a good kid. You know what I mean? Like he's insanely talented. He's so passionate and driven. Like I can't say enough good things about him. And frankly, I've seen what he can do with photography. Imagine we start getting video cameras in this kid's hands. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, dude, here, I'll give you like, here's the gear. Let's go shoot some stuff. Let's get creative. Let's have fun. It's gonna be incredible. Like he's gonna be such an asset to everything that I do. And plus he's getting into like graphic design, like all these different aspects of this business that I haven't really branched out into that like we now can,
Nice.
So it's gonna be, we could do like just so much more within the industry. I can't wait. Like I couldn't be more excited. Like Jack's the right person for this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The one thing I love, you're talking about technology and, just whatever. You never know what Jack is going to post on social media. That is the one thing I look forward to every Tuesday on Twitter. Scott, you know where I'm going on this. It's
Just another Trainless Tuesday.
I love seeing what Jack posts because you just never know what he's going to put up there.
Oh, I know. I know.
That's a
I
good
know.
point.
And I get so mad at him too because like he'll post like a photo on like a Friday, but there's no train on it, and I'm like, Jack, that is a beautiful photo that could have waited for Tuesday. Like, what are you doing to me, man? What are you doing to me? I met this awesome girl a couple weeks ago that's getting into YouTube, social media, things like that. I was telling her about this Trainless Tuesday thing, and I said, hey, go on Twitter and just search like just another Trainless Tuesday, and it starts scrolling. And like we literally were sitting there scrolling. Like it's like never ending. Like how many people have done are doing it? Like parks are doing it internationally now. There's parks in the UK that are posting it. Like it is so funny to us that like it's just become a thing, every Tuesday.
Awesome.
And now I'm like, crap, I need to like up my Trainless Tuesday game. So that's like my goal. That's my goal. I'm literally like, I might just go to the winter chill out at Cedar Point just to like get Trainless Tuesday photos.
That's kind of cheating.
A nice snow, roller coaster track,
Nice.
Yeah, but
that's awesome.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of the parks working with Trainless Tuesday, Scott, you have definitely been working with the parks for many years with Upstop. So what kind of equipment or technology do you normally use when you go and start doing your videography and photography there?
The one thing that I do update every year is my GoPro camera, which my friends love because I always sell like right now I'm selling my 9s for like cheap. And so everybody's like, oh my God, I want your 9s, but I always upgrade my GoPros every year. So like, I mean, right now I've got 2 10s and like 3 9s, the Hero Max. And then I've got, for mirrorless, I shoot photography with Sony A7R4 and a Leica Q2. And then I use a Sony A7S3 for videography.
Oh, nice.
And and I've got a DJI Ronin 4D on the way, the 6K one. So that'll be the rig for 2022.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then also you do have a drone or more than one drone?
Oh, yeah. My, of course, my DJI Mavic 2 Pro.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Have you tinkered with any of the 360 GoPros yet, Scott?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you go on Coaster Force, you can see a lot of like the 360 videos that I've shot.
2021 was a big year for you and for Coaster Studios. You guys released of course, everyone knows about it now, the groundbreaking documentary on RMC, This Is How We Roll. Has your life changed as your professional career changed with Upstop Media, or has anything changed because of the release of This Is How We Roll?
Yeah, like it's just like going to parks, I get recognized a lot for it. Like, oh, you're this is how we roll guy. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of I don't know. It's kind of funny, but it's also like it's just amazing. I don't know. We've kind of put our blood, sweat, and tears into that thing. I'm glad it's done. I'll tell you that much. I'm very thankful that it's finished. It's only been beneficial to me and to Coaster Studios, and it really showcases like what's really possible. Because I mean, take Taylor for example. Everybody sees Taylor as like a YouTuber, and they're like, why should he pay $15 for this video? And it's like, well, it's not a YouTube video. It's like cinematic. Like it's something you actually want to sit down and watch on a TV, not on your phone while you're at the airport or something. You want to put it on the big screen. We shot it in 4K for a reason. It kind of really shows like our capabilities, almost like an extreme, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely flexing.
I will say that both documentaries that you have worked with Scott with This Is How We Roll and the Arrow project were beautifully done, by the way. Obviously, technology has definitely come a long way between the two documentaries. You've worked on so many. What would you say is your most challenging project you've ever worked on?
Oh man, I mean, probably I mean, it just, I guess, defends your definition of challenging. Over the summer, I was doing some work for IGTV. I had to mount cameras to like Indy cars that go 180 miles an hour, and that was really scary. So I've got a friend in Tampa that knows a lot of guys who have exotic cars, and so to test the rig, we found a guy with a Lamborghini Aventador, and I mounted the cameras to the Aventador, and I said, "Go go as fast as you can for as long as you can. And he said, done. And it was him, his wife, and their dog sitting in his wife's lap in the Aventador, going like, he said he was holding it about 190.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, these, and for like extended periods, 20 minutes, he'd be going between 100 and almost 200, and I'm like, okay, I think these rigs can hold out an Indy car. It's just like this sheer amount of testing. And then like while I'm there, those like crazy like ropes course, obstacle course things they have. So we had one in like Indy that we had to shoot. And so me being the GoPro guy, they're like, well, Scott, you got to do it. Like you got to film the talent, like doing this stuff. And I got hurt. Like I got a scar, like right.
Wow.
I know they can't see it. I'm showing you a scar right here. Yeah. Like
wow.
I fell and like cut myself open. It was bad. And I was like, I can't, I had to jump into like these crazy nets and stuff while like filming. I mean, it was pretty intense, I mean, that was definitely a challenge.
Wow, that's crazy.
But that's, roller coaster related, so I don't know.
So Scott, at Coaster Challenge, we have a really nice, large audience, wide audience that varies in different age levels, amongst other diversity kind of related things, but definitely different age levels. We have, we certainly have a partnership with the season one. We at the end of the season one, we kind of highlighted our partnership with Coaster Kids and Thrills United with the joiners, and actually a whole month of episodes featuring each week a Thrills United rep. And certainly, a lot of those are younger folks. We even have people that are in their, early teens, even pre-teens listening to the show. And we have people in their 70s and 80s listening to the show, enthusiasts from all ages. But so one of the things that I've found and some of the friendships I've made, on social media with some younger folks, people in their teens and maybe even early 20s, what I hear all the time, and if you're listening, Sean Clark, he and I talk all the time about this. Sean's a great guy. He started college and he's asking me about, hey, what kind of careers can I get where I can travel like you have? Because I've traveled all over the world for work and gotten on all kinds of coasters. You are one of only a few guests that we've had on the show so far, very few guests that are based at the point where you're making a living, more or less. And I know you have the fun job, with the Amphicars, cars, but you're, making your primary living from covering this amazing industry and working in it and being creative. A lot of these younger listeners that we have, like Sean, for example, they want to figure out, hey, what kind of jobs should I focus on? What kind of schooling, any tips or tricks where I can more likely get into a career where I can work with the parks or travel. So, any advice given that you're there yourself and have done this?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You need to think about what you really want to do in the industry. Do you want to design things, work on things? You want to manage things, be in control of things, because everything's going to be different, like for example, right now, Jack is majoring in marketing, and with marketing, you could do like marketing communications. You can work at a park, do marketing for, for a park, be able to have pretty much endless opportunities, taking photos, taking video of that park. Like if that's what you're, marketing or communications is probably a good route for you. Like if you want to be hands-on with the ride itself, industrial engineering, like right. With industrial engineering, you can either be, who knows, you're realistically not going to be designing a roller coaster per se, but you might be working on the train or the station design or things like that, or you might actually be fixing or maintaining those. So I always say like industrial engineering is great to get into if you want to go in that aspect, and then also CAD, any sort of like computer aided design, anything like that, is you have to know that stuff. Right. So like that, or like any sort of industrial engineering, I think you're pretty much got it covered.
Right. So, or mechanical engineering, like,
exactly. Mechanical engineering. You just really got to know what do you want to do, what you want to get out of that career, right. And then if you really want to be in amusement parks, those are things that you should like focus on. You could always do, photography or videography or cinema or whatever. And you might get to work in this industry, but you might not, you might be filming weddings the rest of your life, or you might be doing, great money to be made in that. I almost wish that I had the balls to do it, if I can say that on here, because it's a kind of a one-shot thing with a wedding. That's why I won't do a wedding, because you really got to be 100%. Like you can't miss a shot, basically.
Yeah, it can be stressful.
It's a lot of stress. So I'm like, that's too much stress for me. I don't, I'd rather film a roller coaster. I get, oh my gosh, I gotta wait for the next train,
yeah, that's the worst. Yeah, the worst thing is to wait for the next train for sure.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and helping us launch our first season. We're actually right at our season finale here, and you're one of the last few episodes for our first season. You guys do an incredible job of what you do. Here on the Coaster Challenge podcast, when I started this organization, our main mission here is to help people in general, no matter how old you are, to be able to conquer and face their fears. Because I really feel that a lot of the problems we have been facing, not just in the roller coaster community, but just in society in general and around the country, is that fear really causes a lot of the hatred, discrimination, bullying, you name it, everything. And I think almost everybody, I think all four of us here on this podcast can agree that we've all faced some sort of level of bullying in our society or even within the roller coaster community. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for help, looking for some sort of guidance. What advice could you give to anybody who is listening to this episode right now that could help make a difference in their lives?
Okay, so I was bullied in high school for my roller coaster enthusiasm. Like I was like the butt of the jokes because I liked roller coasters. I get to ride roller coasters for a living now, and a lot of these people are like not. It's just people are, I don't know, especially now on social media, it's even tougher. I couldn't imagine growing up in an age of social media. And, people are, people are ruthless. Just remember that, anybody that picks on you, they pick it on you for a reason. It's because they're jealous of you for a reason, or they just, it's something that's internalized. They're dealing with bigger problems, so they're taking it out on you. So it's not you. You're an amazing person. Okay. Like just always remember that. And like anytime anybody picks on you or bullies you, just remember that they're doing it for a reason, and just ignore it and just be the better person. I think that's probably like my biggest piece of advice. And don't be afraid of this stuff. I mean, it's going to happen. People are going to be people, and it's unfortunate, but just instead of being afraid of it, just don't internalize it and just let it roll off your back, because they got bigger problems to deal with.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah, I will say that that's been really the key thing in bullying. Bullying is because somebody out there sees that you're doing something that they feel they cannot do. They think by bullying on you, making fun of you, or humiliating you is going to try to bring people down to their level. I've been down that road all through my life with my Tourette's. People have always made fun of me because I had a disability that no one else has ever heard of. And so that was when you're a kid, it's pretty tough, So I hope that anybody out there that's listening to this episode tonight, just like you said, you're a very good person. We're all good people here. We all have great creative minds. We all need to embrace and enjoy and celebrate everyone's creativity, and instead of bullying and doing hate. So that's really good advice right there. And I really want to thank you for that. Like I said, Scott, I really want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, talking to Andrew and Ivah and I. So where could people who may not be following you right now, but if they may, where can they find you on social media?
Definitely Coaster Force YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to Coaster Force. Of course, Upstop Media. I mean, follow all the Coaster Force stuff too, because I've had a little bit of everything, and we have an incredible social media team that just like their posts are just fantastic. So everything's worth a follow. But Upstop Media, that's all going to be me, and now me and Jack, which is super exciting. Instagram at Upstop Media, Twitter at Upstop Media, Facebook.com/Upstop Media, I should say. But I'm really bad on the Facebook though, because I feel like I get more off of Twitter and Instagram anyway, but it's on there. Yeah, but definitely Instagram, I guess, is the big one that I like to have fun on. Who knows? Maybe TikTok coming soon. Yeah, I'll be doing the dances. I
swear to God, we're going to probably do a TikTok for the podcast. We'll have to be creative on that one. So,
oh yeah,
everyone.
I look forward to your dance moves.
You and me both.
Oh gosh. Yeah. We'll have to create a mascot for our podcast and let them do the dancing, just like how Six Flags had the crazy old man doing the wacky dance.
Oh yeah, Mr. Six.
Mr. Six.
Well, Scott, thank you so much again, for your time today, and, for sharing your enthusiasm with us fellow enthusiasts and what what your professional activities and the documentaries you've created and the videos that you're doing. And I'm excited now that you're bringing Jack on board with his talent to see what's going to happen with Upstop Media as you go forwards. But thank you for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Ivah, and thank you, Scott. That was just an incredible story. Scott, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story here today. Very motivating and very inspirational. The work that you do at Upstop Media is just truly amazing, and we're just so honored that you were able to come join us here on the podcast for that. Guys, this is a very special episode we're winding down to our last 2 episodes of the season. I will tell you guys, Season 1 has been an incredible season here on the Coaster Challenge podcast with all of us. Our team has worked really hard this season to bring some entertainment, some joy, but also some good life lessons to learn about facing fear and how to conquer it and how to get through depression and anxiety. And believe me, I think that the past few years that we've gone through together with the coronavirus and all the stuff that's been going on in the political world and what's going on around the world, yes, we hope that you all have taken the time to listen to some of the amazing episodes we have for this season, because we've had a lot of amazing guests that have shared so many amazing ways how they've conquered their fears, and I've learned a lot this first season on how people face their fears, how they conquer it, how they're able to move forward, how to get out of depression. It's truly amazing. You guys, if you're listening to this episode for the first time, I highly encourage you, go back to all our previous episodes, just take a listen. You'll be amazed who we've had on the podcast this year. But yep, we're getting down to our final 2 episodes of season 1. There are 2 very big VIPs, special guests that we got on here. But yep, those will be going on every Friday. In the meantime, Justin, how can they find us on social media?
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And if you want to see more from us, we upload every Friday. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all at Coaster Challenge. Links in the description.
Thank you, Justin. Yes, guys, make sure to go on our social media platforms. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure to visit our website at coasterchallengeusa.com. And if you click on the store, we do sell merchandise where you can buy shirts, hats, hoodies. You can buy all kinds of cool stuff with our logo on there. And anything you buy from our store, any proceeds made goes directly to charity at the end of every year. So make sure to check that out. We've got, like I said, last 2 final episodes of season 1 coming up the next 2 weeks. Very exciting episode next Friday. So make sure to come tune in and check it out. But until then, this is David Cantu, and thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you guys next week.